Today I will be going out and asking people the question of whether they think traveling is necessary, and if so, does it bring long-term happiness or joy, and why? So first, after they answer the initial question, whether they even think traveling is necessary, I would like to know whether they believe that it brings long-term happiness or just joy in the moment.
Do you think traveling is necessary? And if so, does it bring long-term happiness or joy?
I believe it is necessary just because it does bring joy, but you can also learn different countries and their history and all that, and I think it's beneficial to see what other countries are like, and in order to live your life to the full potential of your happiness.
Do you think traveling is necessary? And if so, does it bring joy or long-term happiness, and why?
I think traveling is necessary for everybody because I think the world is very big with a lot of different cultures and a lot of different viewpoints and different things, and that's the beauty of humans and how big the world is. And I think that traveling will let us open our eyes and find different viewpoints and form different opinions and different beliefs that we might not have before, and it really brings long-term happiness because I think it broadens our horizon, and it brings temporary joy also because it's kind of like a vacation, but it brings long-term happiness because it shows that it makes us more human, because it makes us more compassionate, more understanding of other people, being able to take in different opinions and different cultures makes us a better human, because I think compassion, empathy is essential for a human. That's our best trait as a human, and traveling enhances that. And I think that's the best thing that a human can do.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So I was asked to answer the question, is traveling necessary? And I think for a lot of people it can feel like that is a necessity in their life. I think we feel like a lot of things, a lot of luxury things that we have, we call them a necessity, when really humans, all they need to exist is food, water, shelter, maybe some affection. But traveling can serve as two different purposes. It can be for function or recreation. So sometimes people are forcefully, they need to travel, they need to go places, or for work, stuff like that. Other times they do it for enjoyment, which is, good too. But traveling, I believe, isn't really necessary, unless maybe you're forcefully pushed out of your country or something like that, if someone's hurting your family or something. And then the next question was, if so, does it bring instant joy or long-term happiness? So I do not believe that it is necessary, but if I was going to argue that it was, I do believe that it could bring instant joy to someone, especially if they're in a trapped situation where they just need to get away, kind of feel like they're have a new reset, a restart in life. That traveling can bring them joy and can bring them long-term happiness. But with anything in life, even joyful things can lead to stress. So yeah, that's all.
I was asked the question on whether I think traveling is necessary and if it brings long-term joy or happiness. I think traveling is necessary, and I also think that it brings both long-term joy and happiness. Joy is what you get in the moment. You're present, everything is happening in real time, so that brings joy then. And long-term happiness, because just over many months and years in different travels, you have different experiences, which can just bring an overall long-term happiness.
Do you think traveling is necessary? And if so, does it bring long-term happiness or joy, and why?
I think traveling is necessary because it's important for people to adapt to other cultures and immerse themselves, because
not only does it teach you more about like yourself and how you can choose to love other people, but I feel like it helps you understand why some people are the way they are in traditions and cultures and languages. And I feel like traveling provides people with a long-term effect of happiness because I travel every year, and so the more places I get to see, I feel like I feel more fulfilled because I have a better understanding of the world and the way people are the way they are and how we all connect and basically like how we all I'm trying to think of a good word. How we all interact with one another.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Do you think traveling is necessary, and if so, does it bring long-term happiness or joy, and why?
I do think traveling is necessary and it can bring you long-term happiness because you learn a lot of different cultures and you can meet a lot of different people that you may not meet if you just stayed in your own little community, and you get to try a lot of new things.
Thank you.
Okay.
Do you think traveling is necessary? And if so, does it bring long-term happiness or joy, and why?
Okay. So I don't think traveling is necessary. I love being at home. I've got dogs here. I like to cook. I am more of a homebody, so I'm very happy being at home. But when I do travel, I think it brings joy because I think living in the moment, seeing new things, doing different experiences with friends and family members is always sort of nice to do. But I am always very happy when I get back home.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Do you think traveling is necessary? And if so, does it bring long-term happiness or joy, and why?
I do not think traveling is necessary. In my opinion, I do not like spending the money on going to other places. I am perfectly comfortable in my home. Over COVID, I did not really go out that much, and I learned that I just like being at home, so I'd rather spend my money on other things.
Do you think traveling is necessary? And if so, does it bring long-term happiness or joy, and why?
If we're talking about traveling, it's hard to say if it's necessary. Everybody has different needs, so everybody has different interests. I always found traveling very interesting. My passion is history, so going to different countries around around Europe and then further Asia. I never was in Africa, but in Asia, so I could feel the history. I could go to different churches, museums, and talk to people, and that's the best source of knowledge is to be in a country, in a certain country. And before, when you start reading history just from the books, then you see what you read years ago, and you feel it, and it's a wonderful feeling. And besides history, of course, different culture, different language, different food. I enjoy going to different restaurants, so I could try different foods and just be in a different world. And then when you come back after years, you can remember all those trips and all those experiences, and that's what brings you joy, that you had opportunity to be in the world and be part of the world.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
The big idea I discovered through this project was that most people said that traveling was necessary, and they had the common idea that traveling lets you experience new cultures and meet new people. People said they grow as a person and they feel good while traveling. Some people also made the statement that it is not a necessity, but you can gain a lot from it. So people did express that they do enjoy traveling, but they don't believe that it is something that's necessary for everybody. Many people could not go with either traveling bringing joy or long-term happiness. That's also something that I noticed. they could see like the two applying while they travel. I still do have some questions of what people choose to do while traveling. A question would be, do they think it is more necessary to see nature, to rest, or learn something about history while they travel? I would like to know even more about what traveling specifically brings to each person. I personally am a strong believer in traveling, but after this project, I now can understand how it is not a necessity for every person. I still enjoy it very much, but I tried to understand why it is not for everyone. Through this project, I learned to listen to people carefully. I really like just listening and not saying my own perspective. I believe that sometimes it's better just to hear someone out, and it's not always necessary to say something like, I think this though, or we are very fast to change the subject to make it about us. So sometimes it's worth just listening to what someone else has to say and not make it about yourself. This is very important to me because I acquired a new skill and that I will start practicing more often. I believe that this project also taught me that it is so important to understand different perspectives because it makes us better. We need to be open and okay with someone not agreeing with us. We learn from one another, and another perspective might even relate to you. So we're all human, and it's just very important to be okay with someone not thinking the same way that you do. And that way we will be able to learn better. And I believe that moving forward after this project, and after interviewing everyone, I think the biggest takeaway that I had was to be a good listener, and I will practice that more often in my day-to-day life.